Welcome to the Miracles Happen Fertility podcast, where science and spirit are the focus of creating your most fertile life. You'll find a beautiful balance of grounded science-based topics as well as spiritual talk, and how they are both important for moving toward optimal fertility. Empower yourself along with me. I'm your host, Dr. Maria Rothenberger, a fellow fertility friend, therapist, coach, best-selling author, and spirit baby intuitive. Let's get started. Hello there, we meet again. This is Maria, your host for the Miracles Happen Fertility podcast. Welcome to episode 146. Today we're going to be talking about the 7 stages of developing your intuition and why it's important on your fertility journey, right? Or on your journey to child-free living and just for the rest of your freaking life, man. Like, intuition is so useful. And being the Taurian that I am all about practical wisdom. I like things that I can actually use, right? So that thing is nice and stuff, but how do I use it? That's what I really want to know. So I like to pass that wisdom on to you. By the way, this kind of content, these kinds of learnings are gone into in detail in the Spirit Baby Foundations training that I will be starting again in April 2022. If you have ever been called intuitive or highly sensitive or an empath, if you're curious about developing those skills to really be able to tune into the other side, to be able to develop your psychic wisdom, to be able to be a medium, if you're interested in connecting to your own spirit babies or perhaps helping others connect with theirs, Spirit Baby Foundations training is the very basic information that you need to know to begin to do this. So it's a really fun time connecting with other people, practicing these skills. It is a safe, totally laid back environment where you actually learn real things and practice real things in the spirit of fun and livelihood and joy. It's a really good time. So if you are interested, then you can go sign up for the waitlist at drmariarothenberger.com/spiritbabytraining. On that webpage, you'll see everything that's involved in the training. And then when you sign up for that waitlist, you'll get all of the details, all the information about timing and pricing and all that good stuff. Oh, and if you sign up for the waitlist now, you will automatically get 20% off of the whole training, which is pretty crazy. This round I am doing another 8 weeks. It's an 8-week training, and we will be doing a lot more group work. So about every other week we'll be holding a group training. So that is 90 minutes of hanging out with like-minded people. They are recorded, and so if you're not able to attend online, then you will be able to watch it later and do the practices that we do. All right, so that's what's going on at the Miracles Happen Fertility Center. Also in April, this is being published in March, but also in April is Infertility Awareness Week. I think it should be called Fertility Awareness Week, my 2 cents. But there's that. I believe it actually starts the week after Spirit Baby Foundations training starts. So fortuitous. All right, so totally a side note here. This episode is being published on March 17th, 2022, and I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge my beloved. My beautiful husband is turning 50 today. 50. And he looks fucking hot. Okay, I'm just saying, he's aged very well. He looks, I think, more gorgeous than the day we got married, which is pretty cool. And a quick little song for him. I have to do the happy birthday song. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Teddy. Happy birthday to you. And many more. Someday I'll learn an Irish song for you, babe. Hasn't happened on the ukulele yet. All right. So We are going to be celebrating like crazy on Saturday. We're going to be doing a pub crawl thing. Hey, let that be an example for all of you out there TTCing. Please have some fun with your spouse, man. Please have some fun. It's not worth it to just drag on every day, all day long. Believe me, Teddy and I know from personal experience, right? If you've read Transcending Infertility, by the way, our story is in there. Near divorce. From near divorce to like way more in love than we've ever been. You got to have some fun with each other. All right? Side note. Extra lesson for the day. Okay. Hey, let's talk about the 7 stages of intuition and why this is useful. First, let's talk about why it's useful. Okay, why is intuition helpful for your fertility journey? Here's the thing, and here's like this, here's a great example of the balance between science and spirit on this podcast, okay? I am a huge proponent of evidence. I like having evidence. I like knowing that there's research to back it up. That for me runs the gamut from, traditional double-blind placebo studies all the way to anecdotal evidence. To me, it's all evidence. The thing is that when you're looking at even research, if you're feeling like, something's just not, it's just not right here, that is important to look at because, we can say, oh, but the research says, or the science says, or blah, 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 blah. Well, as a scientist myself through, minimally through my doctoral research, I know that even statistics can change based on the input that we give the data. So I really think that it's important just on that to be able to tap into our intuition. So given that I like evidence, I like looking at things from that perspective, I do think that it's important and useful to tap into our intuition. Again, I believe we are told that it's like, too soft, it's too untrustworthy. We can't really trust our intuition. We have to really look at facts and numbers and statistics and graphs and all these things. But the fact is that if we are taught from a young age to tap into our intuition, we can be way more accurate than we are right now, just based on like statistics and looking at pros and cons lists and things like that. There has been a ton of research done in the military on remote viewing, for example, which is one of the things that we talk about in the Spirit Baby Foundations training, and we practice it too. Woohoo! It's so much fun. Anyway, so forgive me, I get really excited. And the military in the U.S., the military is kind of a big deal, right? In terms of what they bring into them. I mean, shoot, I'm not a military person. I can't even know the half or even like a third or a tiny percentage of what they bring in to the work that they do. But I do know that the U.S. military has looked at remote viewing as an actual skill to use in their work. They might still be doing it, even though officially that's over. So, all that to say, intuition is a really strong and useful skill to use. In the mental health world, it's referred, in a way, to wise mind. And why I say in a way is because wise mind in dialectical behavioral therapy is about being quite mindful of your thoughts and your emotions and building upon those to be wise, to make wise choices. And the reason why I say it's kind of related is because intuition is it's different than emotion, actually. Intuition is not emotionally charged at all. It just feels like fact, but it feels different than fact from like looking at figures and statistics on a computer screen or a piece of paper. So It's related in a way to this wise mind, but it is different. And I feel like wise mind in DBT, dialectical behavioral therapy, could bring in this intuitive piece too and make it even more useful. So anyway, that's a little bit of a tangent. Why this is useful for your fertility journey. I did a podcast episode. I've done many podcast episodes on accessing intuition. There's a very popular one actually that I did with Andrea Ryder. You can see the video episode on the Miracles Happen Fertility Center YouTube channel, or you can listen to it. It's episode 59. Listen to it on whatever platform you're listening to this one on. Episode 59 with Andrea Ryder, Your Intuition Always Knows What's Next. And that is probably the most important reason to tap into your intuition, or to pull in and train your intuition, because you can make decisions so quickly. It's amazing. Now, caveat, I am not suggesting that you rely only on your intuition. Okay, just like I wouldn't say rely only on your thinking mind, please do not rely on just your intuition. You really do need to pull in both. They're both useful and important on your journey, your life journey, your fertility journey. I even used it strongly on my personal decision to move forward with living child-free. I just felt so good with that. It felt good to release any fertility treatments. It just felt so great. And I knew that was my intuition saying, it's time to let go of this. I think you've learned what you needed to learn from this whole process. For those of you who know my story, that is not how we ended up moving forward in our family building journey. My husband said, no, I really need to be a dad. And so we moved forward with adoption. And that was very much using my intuition. He's tapping into his intuition a little bit more nowadays, but definitely not back then. Hey, let's talk about the 7 stages of developing intuition on the other side of this break.
Is it time to take your life to the next level? Are you tired of playing small and repeating the same cycles in your life? I invite you to tune in to the Art of Living Big podcast. It's a show that's part brain, part spirit, and part possibility. I'm Betsy Paik, the host, and I'm an author, a speaker, and a trainer of NLP. And each week, I share new ideas to help you think differently about what could be possible for your life. Are you ready? Let's go live big.
Okay, stage 1 of developing your intuition is the realization that you have intuition. It's the awakening or the awareness that, oh, I feel like I knew that before it happened. Or how did I know that before it happened? Or, oh my God, that dream totally just came true. That's exactly what happened in my dream. I knew it. Or I just had a thought and I followed up on it and it was right. Or I feel like I heard somebody tell me I needed to do that and then I did it and oh my God, it worked. This is crazy. Those are all examples of things that people say when they have this realization, holy shit, I think there's something I'm not tapping into here that I need to look at more. So that's the very first step or stage, is the realization that this is a thing, this is a thing that I might want to look into more. The second stage is the looking into it more. So listening to podcasts like this, taking classes, talking with other people who are developing their skills. You're learning, you're researching, you are gathering more and more information and beginning the practice of it, beginning to be playful around it. This is how I was when spirit babies, I guess, now that I think about it, it was well before spirit babies. I think that I was always kind of fascinated or interested in psychic phenomena. I remember buying a book about developing psychic phenomena that I never really practiced. I just bought it because I was fascinated by it, interested in this kind of stuff. But I kind of stayed there. I stayed in that stage for years, just kind of being curious about it and maybe learning every once in a while about it. But then the spirit baby thing happened. That was pretty jarring for me. For those who have not listened to that or know, if you don't know of that story, go back to, I don't remember the episode number, but it's July of 2020 when I, quote, came out as a spirit baby intuitive. Basically, the story was that I was seeing a client for grief after having lost her babies, and they came to me in spirit form. I was in total denial. I didn't believe this was real. And then again, the awareness that something is happening here and the curiosity around it. And then I started the next stage. And that is the actual practical application or like using it. But for me, it was just play. Like I was just playing around. It wasn't like a job or I wasn't trying to be intentional around helping people. I was just like kind of having fun with it. And that stage for me lasted a good 7-8 years before I thought, oh my God, this could actually be very helpful for people. So I began mastering the skill, which is the 4th step. So the first step, again, let's just review: beginning or an awakening or an awareness that you have this other capacity outside of just your thinking mind. Then you start learning, researching, gathering more information, connecting with other people. Then you start using the skill, right? For me, it was that playful, like, oh, let's just see what happens if, I have a glass of wine and I'm sitting with people, what comes up, right? Then you really start mastering it. And that's what I started doing back in 2020. COVID opened up this opportunity, the quarantine helped me create a desire to learn more about this and to master the skills around it. And so I made a concerted effort to learn this, to get some training. And that is the 4th skill. You build up some confidence, you build up some strength in your skills through practice, practice, practice. The cool thing is too, mastering the skill means that you're able to create boundaries around it. Anything that you master, you create boundaries around it. So in the beginning, when I was just being playful and using it, souls would like pop in whenever and just communicate with me and tell me stuff. And I could get quite overwhelmed. Anybody who's a highly sensitive person or an empath can, you know what I mean? It can get really overwhelming when people are just constantly in your space, whether they're in a body or not. Mastering this skill helped me create boundaries. My specific words are shop's closed. You need to come back later, man. Shop's closed. Your specific boundaries might be different words or no words at all, just creating an energy of blockage or, I'm not seeing anybody right now. I'm not connecting with anybody right now. There are many things to learn about. There are many things to learn within mastering this skill: intuition, psychic awareness, mediumship, but boundaries is a huge one. Creating boundaries is really, really important for safety and for feeling okay in your body on this earth, living a normal everyday life, because we can get caught up in those clouds pretty easily. And some folks, they actually worry about negative energies being, regular visitors, but you can create boundaries around that too very well. That's actually my main priority, is to create boundaries around negative energies coming in. They're just not allowed. Pardon me. They're just totally not allowed in my space. Connecting with spirit baby realm is so different. They are so light and playful. You can feel the difference between them and a negative energy who's faking being playful and light. You can feel the nuance. It's really, really cool when you start to do this. That's part of this mastery. Okay. The next stage, the 5th stage, is really fucking hard. Okay. I'm just going to be real here. This is when you fail, because it happens to everyone. So here you are. I practiced all the skills. I used all the tools. I mastered my skill. I know that my intuition is right, but it didn't freaking work in this instance. What the actual fuck? What's going on here? Maria, you told me that I would just practice these skills and over and practice and get good and good, get greater and greater, and it failed. So I don't get it. Like, what the heck's going on here? Okay, this is a really important, I can't stress this enough. This is such an important part of your process in developing your intuition. Because here's the difference. You have not failed unless you don't use the lesson. Because you'll continue to get this lesson of quote unquote supposed failure until you learn it, until you learn it's not actual failure. You do feel betrayed, like your intuition is crap, or you don't access it, or it doesn't exist. You do feel that. It's so important to feel it. And it's an important step to move forward in greater mastery. Here's an example. I met with a client who was accessing her intuition, and she made a choice, a life choice. It's a very big one. And it was crap. It totally did not work out for her. It was a horrible experience. And she wondered, what the hell? Can I not trust myself? Can I not trust that what I'm doing is accurate? Or can I not trust myself to make good choices? Okay, here's the very important thing to tune into, okay? And this is actually, pardon me, I have a lot of phlegm today, TMI. This is the most important part of that stage, okay? The feeling of betraying yourself, or your intuition betraying yourself, or feeling like a failure. This is very important in terms of the fertility world too. There's a whole chapter written on it in Transcending Infertility, and that is the letting go of the outcome. We think that our intuition will always lead to sunshine and rainbows. Not true. It's not true. Our intuition leads us to what is the most important outcome for our soul, for the greatest purpose of our soul. That means sometimes our intuition is leading us to a lesson that we don't want to fucking feel. It feels terrible. It's dark and worrisome and scary. But we need to go there. So, here's a big part of your lesson or the stages of your intuition is a big part of it, is to screw up sometimes, or to feel like you screwed up. Because that is the lesson. It's the beautiful lesson. You learn to not take yourself so seriously. You learn to soften these blows. You learn to be able to communicate with other people around, sometimes the darkness that can come from the right next move. You learn to be able to educate yourself and other people about this process. So it looks like it's awful. It looks dark. It looks scary, and it is, but it's for this greater purpose. So important. Now, in my personal experience, using intuition leads far more to like sunshine and rainbows and unicorns than it does the darkness. But the darkness happens, and I'm always able to practice that next step, which is the letting go part. Like, friggin' A, that sucked. Now, what do I need to pull from that? What am I getting from that? First, of course, is always honoring the darkness, always wrapping yourself up in self-compassion, taking care of yourself. And then you can move on to the lesson piece. Like, okay, pulling myself up by my bootstraps and moving on. What do I need to get from that? What do I need to learn from that experience? This was really hard, but what do I need to get? Okay, so let's go over these again. First thing, you're awakening. Next thing, learning, gathering information. The next step, using the skill, practicing it in like good fun and in lightheartedness. The fourth stage, mastering the skill, creating mastery around it. The fifth stage, screwing up, feeling like a failure even though you're not really a failure. And the sixth stage, which is actually kind of, it's like stage 5.5, is the letting go piece. So you're letting go of the outcome here, trusting that your intuition is leading you to something that you need to have in your life, and then letting go of what you think should happen. Okay. The next thing, which is also part of, this is like stage 5B, but it's technically stage 7, is the integration and the effortlessness of your intuition. So the integration is continuing to use your intuition, feeling great, feeling good most of the time, feeling terrible with the outcome a small portion of the time, and letting go of that, letting go of all of it. You're letting go of the time when you feel great too, because this is all part of this mastery. You don't need things to be amazing all the time. There is, with your intuition, again, this lack of emotional charge. So it's just fact. It's just truth. And you're letting go of the need for it to be different than that. You're just letting it be how it is. So the integration is this back and forth, using the skill, getting it, quote, right, or getting, good feelings from it most of the time, not so great feelings part of the time, learning those lessons, pulling them in, and creating this effortlessness around using your intuition. I'm telling you, nowadays, there's no decision. Okay, right now I'm going to use my left brain and bring out the charts and the graphs. Oh, but right now I'm going to shift to intuition. Let's just tap into intuition and see what comes of that. There is no separation of the two now for me. It's just both. They both exist at the same time. They're harmonious. And sometimes I use my thinking skills or my left brain more than I do my intuitive skills. And other times it's the opposite, but it's both generally at the same time, using different, ratios. So for one instance, it might be an 80-20 where I'm using most my left brain, 80-20 where I'm using most my intuition, or 50-50 or 60-40 or whatever. It doesn't really matter. All that matters is that I'm using both. That is this effortlessness around intuition. I'm just instantly tapped into my intuition and using my left brain thinking mind, which is logical and beautiful in and of itself. Okay, I hope that you can make some sense from these stages of developing your intuition. I hope you can also identify where you are specifically and what you need to do to move forward to harness or master these skills and to integrate them and to be able to trust them even more through not getting it right. Or, in my opinion, it's always right, even when it feels terrible. So not getting it right is kind of the wrong phrase to use, or it's not quite accurate, because I think that even when your intuition leads you to darkness or something that is like really crappy, it's still right. It's still the exact thing that you needed to experience in that moment. Okay. So go forth, harness your intuition, practice well. And if you want more training around it, if you're in that I want to train stage or I want to master stage, consider Spirit Baby Foundation's training, drmariarothenberger.com/Spirit Baby Training. Sorry, I almost lost that for a second. drmariarothenberger.com/Spirit Baby Training. You can sign up there for more information and you'll get it as soon as I have more details. I will blast email them out to you guys, and you'll learn more information. I am wishing you well. I am wishing you total connection to your intuition while integrating your left brain thinking mind, because that is beautiful too. And I will see you next time. Take care.